Media is finally saying what we've been saying in the Trends Journal for 3 years. Commercial real estate bust, mostly in the business sector, worth $5 trillion. Floating loans, as interest rates go up, so too the cost of their loans as their office occupancy keeps dropping. The values of commercial real estate in San Francisco, down 30%. Yeah. Nobody's going back to work. Streets are ugly, homeless, crime. Yep. Rented homes were supposed to be the safest nook in the U.S. real estate market. It's not turning out that way. Rising interest rates are taking the air out of bubbly property values. Apartment prices are down 21% over the past year, according to the Green Street Commercial Property Price Index. You know who's the worst performing? Real estate offices. No kidding. Only said this was going to happen 3 years ago when they locked down everything and people zoomed to work, didn't commute anymore. It's our top trend, one of them for 2023, office building bust. What did they pump in? $6.3 trillion, the government? They're doing everything they can to do it. The market should have crashed back in 2020. It should have been over. The businesses have been destroyed. Hey, let's not talk about office occupancy rates in America. They're only, around 40%. Cities like in New York, 35%. Oh, all those businesses, the dry cleaners, and the shoe repair, oh, the hairdressers, oh, happy hours, all gone. Oh, and now I'm renting, and let's say I have 8 stories of a building. My people don't want to commute an hour and a half anymore on the LIE. You know, they hated it, going an hour and a half back and forth. I'll work from home 3 days a week. Great. I'll save on rent. This is for real. Office occupancy rates in New York City, in Chicago, in San Francisco, they're in the toilet. Apartment building sales dropped 74%. Most in 14 years. I mean, the Great Recession. Remember, I kept saying it's going to take time for the effects of interest rates to do their damage. The damage has happened. It's only going to get worse. Small businesses file for bankruptcy at record pace, surpassing COVID crash. Small businesses across the United States are expecting a surge in bankruptcy, surpassing levels not seen since 2020. Note from the UBS Evidence Lab shows private bankruptcy filings in 2023 have exceeded the highest record during the early stages of the COVID pandemic by a considerable amount. So the whole thing is going more and more in that direction. And so, yes, there's going to be a place for cryptos. And here, I call it GSB, real estate or Bitcoin, real estate or cryptos.
Yeah.
I would say a combination of two. Real estate to me is very important to own, and not unfortunately, I didn't start buying it until much later years, when I was about 34. And I moved to Rhinebeck, New York, which was a no-place town in those days. They call it now the Hamptons of the North. In 1984, I bought 38 acres of land. I paid 38 acres, an old house, $28,000. I have 3 of the most historic buildings in America. I'm in Kingston, New York. If you Google up Kingston, New York, most historic 4 buildings, it's the only place in America with pre-Revolutionary War stone buildings on each corner. So we try to look at the whole big picture. Yes, are housing prices greatly exaggerated? Most definitely. But this is different than the crash in the 2008, 2007, 2011 and on. Because back then you didn't have to have any dough and you could buy a house. Remember the subprime mortgages?
Yeah.
Now people are buying them for cash. And then you have about 30% of all the home sales in 2021 came from the Blackstones and the big groups up there that are buying up housing because people can't afford to buy them. So, but then you look at real estate on other levels. To me, office, commercial real estate is going to be in the toilet. People aren't working like they used to. I go down to New York City, man. It used to take me 40 minutes to go cross town. Now it takes me 15. They didn't teach me about zero and negative interest rate policy in Economics 101 at graduate school. I mean, how long is they doing this? Again, the bigs are getting the money for free. They're gambling like crazy. So now let's put it all together. We're looking at what happened and why it happened. So when they began the COVID war, they locked down everything. Stay at home. You can't go to work. But hey, here's some cheap money for you. Here, go on. Shut up. Here's some money. You got a business here. We're going to give you money. Oh, we're going to print, we're going to go to zero and negative interest rates. In the United States zero interest rate policy, the market should have crashed in 2020. No, we had a real estate boom. It's rigged. It's rigged. It's a rigged game. In what America used to be once upon a time, we used to call the land of opportunity. 1% own 54% of all the equity markets. They're in control. 1% owns over half. You put the 10% together, they own 90%. The markets are only artificially being propped up right now. So now when interest rates, go back to 2018, when you had Trump pushing Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. This is before the COVID war started, because the markets were going down as interest rates were going up. Remember that. So now they're lying about that we're not going to raise interest rates. Inflation isn't going up because when interest rates go up, the housing market goes down. Oh, the mortgage rates are now back down to February lows. And now people are refinancing and buying again. When the mortgage rates go up, when interest rates go up, the gambling game stops and this whole thing collapses. Everybody knows it.